So 395 moved pretty fucking good. So we're gonna go for 4 fucking plates, bro. Holy shit. Let's do this. I got it. I got it. Don't touch it.
Let's go.
Whoa! Let's go, bro. Hey y'all, Zach here. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about what I would do if I had to start all over again to bench press 405, right? Pretty much avoiding all the errors and just the best, fastest way to succeed, right? Before we get into today's video though, I would like to quickly shout out my workout program. Again, this is a program I designed myself and it helped me get to a 405 bench, a 635 pound deadlift, and a soon to be 500 pound squat, all naturally. And again, all for the price of $5. All right, back to today's video. So pretty much getting straight into the video. If you don't know me, it took me about 2 years to bench 405, right? Here's a video of me doing so right here. Yeah, I was pretty ecstatic. I was just, elated. I was like, holy shit, it took 2 years. And the fact that 2 years is actually very above average, because there's some dudes where it took 10 years to hit 405 naturally. Shit, there's some dudes who took probably half a decade and they're probably running shit, right? Because again, 405, statistically speaking, is just probably going to be untouchable for the average person, right? But it doesn't matter, right? If you are planning on doing powerlifting, you have a higher chance of probably bench pressing 405 than the average person, right? And I'm going to show you what I do different, right? So getting straight into it, I used to do a chest/triceps day, right? And a back/biceps day. Throw that out the damn window, right? Back and chest is probably the best, just the best that you could do, right? Because you're pretty much hitting both sides at the same point. And if you don't know, a bigger back equates to a bigger bench press, right? Because one of the biggest cues in bench pressing is to engage your lats, right? You want to flare them. And a lot of people say, stop letting the bar come down. You're pretty much pulling the bar down with your lats instead of your arms. And when I found that out, I was like, okay, they're right? And the best way to do that is just increasing the width of your back and just making it stronger. And the best exercises for that are pull-ups, lat pullovers, and a lat pull down. And I would even, recommend a chest-supported T-bar row or something like that, right? Very amazing exercises to grow a nice, thick width back, right? I mean, shit, here's the proof that it works for me, right? Here's a video, right? So I would 100% recommend you increase the width of your back. Make sure you really go crazy on your chest and back days. And, obviously part 2 or number 2 reason to increase your chest and what I would do over again is to make sure you're hitting just the accessories you really need to do, right? There's a lot of junk accessories that really don't matter. I remember when people were still doing like the hex press, right, with a plate. That was one of the stupidest things ever. I remember my friend showed me it. I tried it for a good 2 training sessions. I said, this shit is bullshit, right? That's just junk, right? The best exercises that can really transfer over to strength is doing a close grip bench press, right? This is an exercise that I implemented myself this week. Close grip pretty much keeps your ego at the door, right? Because close grip, you're not doing a lot of weight that you can normally do on a regular conventional bench press, right? Because again, like what the name implies, you're doing a much more narrow grip. Your hands are a lot more closer apart. They're probably about 10 to 12 inches apart from each other, which pretty much puts a lot more stress on your triceps, right? This is a really good tricep builder, and this is what's going to help you with the lockout strength, right? A lot of people's weakness when it comes to bench pressing is locking out the bar fully so they can re-rack the weight, right? And it puts a lot of stress on your shoulders, right? So a lot of people even do close grip just because it feels better on their shoulders. And, bench press is just notorious for fucking your shoulders up if you're not really taking care of your rotator cuffs, right? And number 2, or another exercise, chest exercise I'd recommend is just any incline movement, like an incline Smith machine or an incline dumbbell, right? I'd probably really try to go over to incline dumbbell because incline dumbbell is just amazing when it comes to working unilateral exercises, right? So you're really working on stability and you're getting a deeper range of motion because you can go a little bit farther, deeper into that stretch, right? So not only is it going to transfer over into strength a little bit better, but you're just going to get some bigger tits in general, right? Again, incline Smith is also a really good substitute for that if you don't have you know, the heavy enough dumbbells that would, you know, get you a good stretch or a good hypertrophy, you know, something like that. So still incline dumbbell or incline bench Smith machine is still really good and valuable. And then I'd probably just throw some like a chest fly in there, just another accessory for hypertrophy, right? Because again, a bigger chest will still equate into a bigger bench, right? A lot of people assume, oh, just because this dude's a bodybuilder and he's jacked doesn't really mean he's strong. That's just stupid. The bigger the muscle, the bigger output that muscle can do. So yes, in theory, a lot of these bodybuilders are very strong. I mean, you've seen a lot of these Mr. Olympias transfer pretty well into freaking, you know, powerlifting. I mean, dude, Ronnie Coleman was a Mr. Olympia and dude was squatting 800 plus pounds, deadlifting insane amounts of weight. I think like them being that jacked and big helped him out quite a bit, right? So I would do that for chest. Another chest exercise I'd recommend is doing some dips, right? Dips are amazing because like a little bit like close grip, it heavily engages your triceps, which again is a big lockout stabilizing muscle, or a muscle that really needs to get bigger and stronger to help you lock out that bench fully, right? And then obviously it hits your lower chest and just pretty much your mid chest as well, which obviously equates to a lot of pushing power. So I'd 100% recommend doing that. And then just make sure you also bench, right? How do you expect to get better at bench pressing if you're not even doing the movement? You got to really master it. And I think, myself included, a lot of people would benefit if they learn how to use leg drive, right? I still don't even use leg drive to its fullest potential. The minute I use leg drive is when my ass is coming off the bench because this is a lot more weight than I was able to, you know, manage, right? So try to master leg drive, try to really implement those training sessions by doing, you know, your conventional bench press with the normal grip. And I think you'd do pretty well. You'd succeed, right? But yeah, the biggest thing is doing your accessories. Another big thing is when I benched 405, I was eating, right? You got to put some mass on if you want to eat or if you want to bench heavy, right? That's one of the biggest things that a lot of people like to gloss over. I mean, I'm cutting right now and my benches went down significantly, right? And I'm not saying just fucking eat just to eat. I'm talking do something, do it well, right? Do it very planned. Like I really recommend you like carbing up like either 30 minutes before the exercise, like by doing some quick digestible carbs that won't mess up your stomach, or do some complex carbs like pasta like 12 hours before, like the night before, right? And then make sure you're eating your protein. How do you expect to get big and you're not eating enough protein? That's just stupid. Just be smart about it, all right? But yeah, that's pretty much my tips and tricks on bench pressing or getting to a 405 bench, right? It's not going to be easy. It took me 2 years. And I have very, I wouldn't say very, very good genetics, but I have well above average genetics, right? So be consistent. Don't psych yourself out. There was a time where I plateaued. I didn't see a lot of gains for a long time. And sometimes I'm like, why the fuck am I even doing this, right? So if you really want it, you got to just be disciplined, right? Sometimes maybe even a mixture of a little obsession, right? Like you already need to envision yourself bench pressing this kind of weight if you ever plan on bench pressing it, right? I daydream about me bench pressing 500 sometimes. Am I ever going to do it? Probably not. But, you know, if I've ever really like put my mind to it, I will. But again, just be consistent, be smart about it. And yeah, that's today's video. What are your guys' bench presses at? Like, what are you doing right now? But make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.